Have you been looking for a practical answer to your question of what the best thing is to do when you can't sleep at night? In this video, we will see that the action step here is actually to complete your question with the intent. What is the best thing for me to do when I can't sleep at night? So that, what is your intent? Because that's what really matters. And that's what we're going to explore in this video. Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a sleep physician turned sleep coach and creator of the Sleep Coach School, in which we help high achievers leave the sleep struggle for the rest of their lives. In this episode, we are going to look at a practical answer to a question I get all the time, which is a variation of, what should I do when I can't sleep at night? What's the best thing for me to do? And this actually came to me. The answer we're going to look at now actually came to me in a group coaching call that I was hosting a couple of weeks ago. And we had a member of the group, and she's our typical avatar, a high achieving, hardworking, type A personality, who's done so well in all aspects of her life, but has struggled with sleep. And she has studied our way for a while. And she was sort of like, but Daniel, okay, let's just tell it to us. Like, please just give us something practical here. What should I do when I wake up and I can't fall back asleep, right? And the answer that really came to me in that moment, I think became kind of really practical. And that's what I want to share with you. But that was a little backstory. But to understand the answer, we just need to do a very quick kind of insomnia recap. It literally take like a minute. And then we're going to reveal like the action step and why I think it is actually so practical and helpful. So firstly, what is insomnia? Insomnia recap here. Well, we struggle with sleep. We have this ongoing self-fulfilling, self-sustaining struggle with sleep when our brain has started to seeing not sleeping as a threat, as a danger. Because then if we happen to sleep little, our brain gets alarmed, and when it's alarmed, we sleep little, and then it gets alarmed because we sleep little, and then it makes us sleep little. That's insomnia, right? So it's maintained by that idea and by the things we do to try to be safe from that threat. We think, oh, not sleeping is a threat. So we take melatonin, we perfect our sleep hygiene, we go to have acupuncture, hypnotherapy, all these things. But because we're trying to outrun a threat, escape from a threat, all those things we do, they just reinforce the idea that there is a threat. And that there is a danger, which keeps us in this loop, right? So keep that in mind as we now will reveal the action step. And here's the thing. When you have a question like, what should I do if I can't sleep? What is the best thing to do for me if I wake up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 3 or whatever time it is, right? When you're looking for kind of like that answer, then what you want to do is actually complete your question with the intent behind that question. So instead of simply going, what should I do if I can't sleep? Then complete that with like, what should I do if I can't sleep? And the intent, like, why are you asking that question? What do you want to achieve? What's your goal here? Where do you want the answer to lead you? What do you want to have? For example, we'll complete this one. What's the best thing to do if I wake up at 3 a.m. and then the completion becomes, so that I fall back asleep as fast as possible? Now that we've deployed honesty and we've completed this phrase, we see that what we're looking for, the answer we're looking for, is actually a safety behavior, something that will keep us away from the danger, something that make us fall asleep quickly, which will make us escape wakefulness, right? And what we know from insomnia is that, well, this is what keeps it going. And when we've seen this, we've seen that, my intent with this question was actually simply looking for another sleep effort. We call sleep effort anything we do in an attempt to try to achieve sleep. It's also known as a safety behavior. We can complete another question, this one. What should I do if my racing mind keeps me from falling asleep, right? That's normally the question. But now we're taking this action step of actually completing it with our intent. So it becomes, what should I do if my racing mind keeps me from falling asleep? That will shut off my mind so that I fall asleep. And here we can see something very similar. In this case, it is actually not just, being awake that has become like a threat, a danger in our mind, but the racing thoughts as well. Now, the irony here, of course, is that the racing thoughts are a product of our brain thinking that not sleeping is a threat. Whenever we think anything is dangerous or a threat to us, we will have thoughts about that. We will have a lot of racing, intrusive thoughts about that. Really, like, what if I do this? Should I do that? What if this happens? Da da da. Those racing thoughts, they're just a product of us thinking of not sleeping as a threat. And when we're trying to shut them off so that we sleep, we're again in this mindset of trying to escape the threat of those thoughts, the threat of not sleeping, right? Which just maintains more thoughts and more wakefulness. And we see that so clearly now, thanks to, again, our honesty of showcasing the intent here in completing the full question. And one more here, when we can see that the intent can be something different. Somebody who's maybe studied our way a bit and understands our approach may have the full question like this: what can I do when I can't sleep that just makes it easier for me to be awake, right? You see, this is completely different. Here we're looking for an answer that will help us not escape, that will help us be with the thing we have tried to escape in the past, that will help us see that there is no real threat, that will help us face the thing we have thought of as a danger. Now, on a kind of continuing down our practical path there of trying to find things that really make sense for you. When you take this action step of completing the question, if you find that your intent indeed is to avoid this imagined threat, then you can rephrase your question. Instead of asking yourself or asking anybody, what should I do if I can't sleep so that I fall back asleep real quick? It will become, okay, what should I do if I can't sleep that will make it easier for me to be awake? Then you have rephrased the question. And then you find that your intent is just to make things easier for you, to make it easier for you to face the threat that you've tried to escaping. Then you can answer it in a very meaningful way. You can see that the answer is completely subjective. It's just that if you would like to just stay in bed and rest with your eyes closed, that's totally fine. If you want to have a snack, totally fine. If you want to watch something on Netflix, totally fine. If you want to scroll on your phone, totally fine. Because your intent here is just to make things easier for you, and you know what makes things easier. You know what it feels like when things get easier for you. It's kind of that low energy, the path of least resistance, the lightest, easiest path. That is what really, really helps. So hope this was helpful to you and it was practical. Let me know as always in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Hi, it's me, Daniel, and I hope you took a ton of value away from the video that you just watched. But if you have been watching for a long time, and you're still not at that place of peaceful sleep and peace of mind, maybe it's time for something new. And I say this because every so often, a student in our Insomnia Immunity program tells me, Daniel, I had been tuning in for 2 years, and I only decided to join now, and I don't know why I waited so long, because this is exactly what I needed. The thing is that our free content can be all you need. It can lead to where you want to be. And this is, of course, why we share everything freely. But often we need a little bit more than that. Support, community, guidance, discussion, discourse, and you can find this in our Insomnia Immunity program. You can find it in BedTyme as well. So if you've been tuning in for a long time and you think it's time for something new, then check out these options on our website, thesleepcoachschool.com. And if you decide this is the time to join, then we can't wait to see you on the other side.